Hey, welcome back to our podcast, Sports for Dummies by Dummies. I'm Jake.
And I'm Mitchell.
And we're going to be joined by Robert to do our predictions for NBA and NFL this week. For NFL, we'll be going over Week 13 of NFL games. And for NBA, we'll be going over about 8 games.
And now to recap our NBA section from last podcast, I went 2 for 4.
I went 3 for 4.
And Jacob Blanco went 3 for 4.
So me and Jacob Blanco are tied for basketball at 3 for 4, and I'm 1 game ahead of Mitchell. To recap our last podcast predictions of Week 10 of the NFL, I had 7 correct guesses and 7 incorrect guesses.
I had 6 correct guesses and 8 wrong guesses.
And our special guest, Jacob Blanco, came on and had 9 correct guesses and 5 incorrect guesses. So he's going to be the winner for last week, with me 1 game ahead of Mitchell. And we have a new guest for this one, Robert Van Duzen, who's going to do his predictions, and we'll see who gets them right next week.
Let's get started with our predictions.
All right, first game for Thursday Night Football, we have the Bills and Patriots. Robert, who do you think is going to win that one?
I think the Bills are going to take this one because Josh Allen's been really solid so far.
Mitchell?
Me too. I think Josh Allen just is better. He's him, really.
Yeah, I think the Bills are going to take this one too. They have a better offense and defense than the Patriots.
I agree.
The next game, which is on Sunday, is going to be the Bears and Packers.
I think that the Packers are going to take this one. I think Aaron Rodgers might actually do something this game and win.
I agree with that, honestly. I think the Packers are going to, be good.
And I think that the Bears are going to take this one because Aaron Rodgers might not even play because he's hurt, and Justin Fields has been looking solid. The next 1 o'clock game on Sunday is the Steelers and Falcons.
I think the Steelers are going to take this one, honestly.
Me too. And I know what your answer is going to be.
Yeah, I also have the Steelers. I'm a Steelers fan, and they've been looking good, and the Falcons haven't been looking that good, so I'm going to take the Steelers. Next game is going to be Jets and Vikings.
I think the Jets are going to take this one because Sauce Gardner has been playing really well.
I don't know. I got Vikings for this. I think it's going to be, what are they, 8-1 right now?
9-2, I think.
9-2? I think they're going to be 10-2.
Yeah, I'm also taking the Vikings. They look really good. Justin Jefferson's like the best in the league.
I missed 2 games.
And, yeah. All right, the next game is the Jaguars and Lions.
I think the Jaguars are going to take this one. I think they have a better offense compared to the Lions.
Yeah, the Lions' defense just probably can't keep up with the Jaguars' offense. So,
I'm also going to take the Jaguars. Their running back's back this week, and I think he's going to carry them. And the Lions' defense is just really bad.
That's true.
The next 1 o'clock game is going to be Eagles versus the Titans.
I'm going to take the Eagles on this one because they've been, really good this year.
Yeah, me too. I think the Eagles are probably one of the best teams in the league right now.
I'm also going to take the Eagles because the Titans are going to have to rely on Derrick Henry.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think the Eagles' defense is going to shut that down. The next 1 o'clock game is going to be Commanders and Giants.
Okay, I think the Giants are going to take this one because Saquon's been doing really good. Daniel Jones has been doing really good. And their defense has just been, amazing this year.
Yeah, I think Saquon is the best running back in the league, personally. So I think the Giants are going to take this one.
The Commanders have been hot, but I think the Giants are going to just barely beat them. I think Saquon's going to have a good game, too, and the Commanders' offense is going to be slow. Next 1 o'clock game is going to be the Browns and Texans.
I think the Browns are going to take this one. I don't have reasoning behind it. But
yeah, I don't. I just think the Browns are going to take this one. I think they're pretty even.
It's Deshaun Watson's first game. It's his revenge game against his old team. I think they're going to beat him by 20.
Yeah.
And then the last 1 o'clock game is going to be the Broncos and Ravens.
I think the Ravens are going to take this one.
I hate Lamar Jackson. I hope the Broncos win.
What do you have against Lamar?
I don't know. He's just a running back.
All right. I'm going to also take the Ravens. The Broncos have been terrible this season, and Lamar's been playing really good. And the first 4:05 game is going to be the Dolphins and 49ers.
I think the Dolphins are going to take this one.
Is Tua in?
Tua's in, yeah.
Oh, I think that the Dolphins are going to take this one then, if Tua's in.
The Dolphins have a better record, but I'm going to take the 49ers. They got some of the best weapons in the league. So
Don't think they have
if
actual
Jimmy
weapons.
Garoppolo can be decent.
Oh, and they got Christian McCaffrey. I forgot
Yeah,
about
they got
that.
Christian McCaffrey, Debo, George Kittle. So I think if Jimmy
Doesn't matter.
does decent, I think that they're going to win. Next 4:05 game is going to be Seahawks versus the Rams.
I think the Rams are going to take this one. I think they just have like a more put together team.
Yeah, I think that the Rams are going to take this one too. I feel like their offense and defense are just better.
I'm going to take the Seahawks. The Rams quarterback situation has been pretty bad over the past couple weeks, and Cooper Kupp's out, and their running back situation's also been pretty bad, and the Seahawks have been playing great, so I'm going to take them. And the first 4:25 game is going to be Chargers and Raiders division game.
I think the Chargers are going to take this one.
Probably the Chargers. I don't know much about the Raiders or Chargers, so.
I'm also going to take the Chargers. Raiders have been pretty awful this season, last in their division, and Justin Herbert's been hot the past couple games, so I'm going to take the Chargers.
Agreed.
And the next 4:25 game is an AFC Championship rematch. It's going to be the Chiefs versus the Bengals. Who do you guys have?
I think it's going to be a tough one, but I'm going to take the Bengals just because I think their offense is... They have like a better core.
I don't know. I just think Mahomes is better than Joe, so I'm going to take Mahomes.
I'm also going to take the Chiefs. I think they're going to want to win after that AFC Championship game. And the Chiefs, their run game's developing really good, and their pass game's obviously elite. So I think they're going to take that one. And Sunday 8:20 game is going to be the Colts and Cowboys.
I'm going to take the Cowboys on this one.
Me too. I just think that the Colts just can't keep up with the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Colts have been really bad this season, coming off a loss to the Steelers on Monday.
Not surprising.
And Cowboys have had a really good season, and I think that they're going to keep that going. And the Monday night football game is going to be between the Saints and Buccaneers.
The Saints are my favorite team, so I'm going to have to take the Saints.
I'm going to have to take the Buccaneers for this one.
So, Robert, the Saints are your favorite team. Have you ever gone to a Saints game in person?
No, but like I really want to.
All right, and who's your favorite player on the Saints?
Probably Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill. All right. So for my pick, I'm going to take the Buccaneers. Neither team's been playing that good, but I trust Tom Brady more than I trust Taysom Hill or whoever they have. Our records for Week 13 of the NFL are in. Robert was 7-6-1 for the tie that happened. Mitchell was 8-5-1, and I was 9-4-1. I have now 2 correct predictions in front of Mitchell and 1 in front of our guests.
That wraps up our NFL section for this podcast. Now moving on to the NBA section, we will discuss with Robert our predictions for the upcoming games this weekend and Monday. Next game we have Lakers versus Bucks. How do you guys think that's going to play out?
I'm going to take the Bucks on this because their team is just like so good in my opinion.
Yeah, I really want the Lakers to win this one, but I think it's going to be the Bucks.
I'm actually going to take an upset here. I think Anthony Davis is going to have another great game, and I think everyone around him is just going to play well. I think the Bucks are going to struggle a little bit in this game, and I'm going to take the Lakers.
I understand that.
All right. The next game is Nuggets versus Hawks.
I really want the Hawks to win here, but I feel like the Nuggets will win because they just have like Nikola Jokic, and they've built like not even like a good team, but like a half decent team around him.
I mean, yeah, Jamal Murray, I think, has he been playing good this season? I thought he was.
I think so.
Isn't he averaging 20, 25?
Yeah,
something like that.
And Jokic, so that's basically just an easy win for the Nuggets.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Nuggets here.
Not go
Jokic
combo.
is a MVP candidate, and I just think that they're going to play well. Next game is going to be Magic versus Cavaliers.
I'm going to take the Cavaliers on this one. Darius Garland has been playing really well, but so is Paulo on the Magic, so I can really see the team winning.
Yeah, I got Bol Bol carrying the Magic. He's going to drop 32, triple-double.
I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, no, it is.
I'm going to take the Cavaliers. They've been playing great basketball, and they have a couple of stars on their team, and I think that they're going to take this pretty easily.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, the next game is Heat Celtics.
I'm taking the Celtics because they just have such a good team. Like with Jason Tatum and Marcus Smart, like they just have a good team.
Yeah, my twin Jason Tatum has just been playing astronomical in this league. I really hope he goes for MVP this year.
For sure.
I'm also taking the Celtics. I think Jason Tatum's going to have a good game, and I think the Celtics all around are just going to have a pretty good game against the Heat.
I got the 76ers on this one. I think that they just have like a really good team.
Yeah, I think Joel Embiid is going to play really well on this game versus Ja. So
I'm actually going to take the Grizzlies. I think Ja's going to have a good game and carry them. They've been playing pretty good this season, and I think they're going to keep it up.
I understand that.
all right, for the next games we have Pelicans versus the Spurs.
I'm going to take the Pelicans on this one just because I feel like Zion's going to have a good game.
Yeah, I don't really know what the Spurs have been doing this season, but I think the Pelicans are going to take this one.
Yeah, I also have the Pelicans. Zion's going to be the best player on the floor, and I think he's going to have a really good game.
Yeah,
All right.
sure.
For the next game we have Pacers versus Jazz.
I'm taking the Jazz. They've been playing really well this year despite giving up Rudy Gobert, and I just feel like they have potential.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Pacers for this one. Tyrese Halliburton has just been putting up crazy numbers.
Yeah, I'm taking the Jazz. Even after giving up their two best players in the offseason, they've been having like a really good season, so I think they're going to take this one.
All right, next game we have Rockets-Suns. Undoubtedly one of the worst teams in the league versus Devin Booker. So
Yeah, for sure. I'm just taking the Suns because despite them having really good players with Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and even like DeAndre Ayton, he's half decent. But they just haven't been playing that well. But I'm going to take the Suns.
I'm also taking the Suns pretty easily. The Rockets suck. Yeah, and the Suns have been doing pretty good, and they got Booker, so I think they're going to win.
all right, here's a good matchup. Bulls versus Warriors.
I think that the Warriors are going to take this one.
I got Warriors too. I think Steph's going to have the 30-point triple-double.
I also think the Warriors are going to take this one. They haven't been doing that great this season, but I think that they're going to string up a nice game against the Bulls. And this is going to be the last game we go over. It's going to be the Mavericks versus the Knicks.
I got Knicks on this one. I think that the Knicks are just going to have an upset against Luka.
I disagree. I'm taking the Mavericks on this one just because, I mean, the Knicks have been doing really well with Julius Randle, but I think the Mavericks are going to take this one.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Robert. I also have the Mavericks here. I think Luka's going to have a good game, and I don't think that the Knicks can even come close to beating them. So, Robert, you're a Timberwolves fan, right?
Yeah.
So, who's your favorite player on the Timberwolves?
I like Karl Anthony Towns. I feel like he's a young player that we can just build around.
All right, and when did you become a Timberwolves fan?
I really started getting into it like last year, maybe 8th grade.
All right, and how did you choose the Timberwolves?
Like they've always been my favorite team. I think I just like their mascot and like the colors or something. But I've like grown to appreciate the players.
All right, and have you ever gone to a Timberwolves game in person?
No, I haven't.
Would you want to sometime?
Yeah, of course.
All right.
And now on to our controversial section. First up, we have Tom Brady from NFL Insiders might be returning to the Patriots. What do you guys think about that?
I think that's an interesting choice. If he actually does return to the Patriots, I feel like he'll want a lot of money, and I don't really think it'll help their franchise very much.
I think he's more going to return just like to play his last season there because he was there for so long. So I think he'll mostly just like be a backup like team player there. I don't think he'll want a lot of money. I just think he'll want to end his career there.
I think he'll definitely start because like despite being very old, he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, that's true, but I think they might want him to mentor their young quarterback in Mac Jones instead of just like because he doesn't have much left in him anymore. So even though he would be a better quarterback than Mac Jones, I think they would want to grow their young star.
Yeah, I just think you're wrong. I think Tom Brady is going to start over Mac Jones because Mac Jones just is not good. Even if he does mentor him, I don't think Mac Jones is getting much better than he is now. So,
I think Mac Jones is like a pretty decent quarterback. I just don't think he has potential to start over Brady just yet.
Yeah, I think he's going to be more of like a Kirk Cousins type guy his whole career. I don't think he's ever really going to be a star in the league.
Yeah.
But I think he'll be like a pretty decent quarterback, and if Brady comes along and mentors him a little, it might help his potential grow a little bit more.
For sure.
And this is going to be our controversial takes for the NBA. And we're going to start with Kyrie Irving coming back to the NBA and putting up 6 points.
I think that was pretty disappointing on his part. Like, despite all the things he said, even the NBA allowing him to come back, I think that was like pretty big. And then him only putting up 6 points, which was very disappointing.
yeah, I think Martin Luther Irving he disappointed us really. He didn't really have to do anything to come back, and I feel like because he was blessed by that, he should have tried harder this game.
Yeah, I think the NBA just letting him back in the first place was a pretty controversial thing for some fans. Not everyone wanted him back after what he said, but they let him back in the league, and he did not have a great game. It might just be because he's been out for a little bit, but I think he's got to perform a little better if he wants to make it all worth it for the Nets.
I agree for sure, because the Nets have they're a pretty decent team, and if Kyrie Irving plays as well as he could, then I feel like they could definitely make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, and even with Kyrie, he's got to try to stay out of the controversy for the rest of the season because he's on pretty bad terms right now with everyone. So if he does anything else that's not very smart, I think he might be done.
For the next section, we'll be going over our championship and Super Bowl predictions. Mitchell, you can go first.
I personally got in the AFC the Chiefs and Dolphins in the championship round. What do you have for the AFC, Jake?
So for the AFC, I also had the Chiefs. But for the second team, I have the Bills playing them.
Whoa.
I think that they're going to have another rematch. And we'll go over who I think is going to win later. But for NFC, I have the 49ers and the Eagles. I think both the teams are really talented, and yeah.
Yeah, me too. For the NFC, I have Eagles and 49ers. We did not mean to pick the same people, but
And now we're going to go over who we think is going to be in the Super Bowl. So who we think are going to win these games. So for the first game, I have the Chiefs beating the Bills again. I think it's going to be like a really good, close game. But I think the Chiefs are just going to come out on top. Who do you think is going to come out of the AFC?
The AFC, I got like I said, my picks for Chiefs and the Dolphins. I got the Dolphins coming out. I think it's going to be a crazy upset. I think the Dolphins are going to come back by 40 points, and yeah.
All right, and then for the NFC, we both have the same team. Yep, so we both have the 49ers and Eagles playing this championship game, but I personally think that the 49ers are going to just barely come out on top. They have a top 3 defense in the league, in my opinion, and they have, great receivers, really good running backs. Their quarterback situation's been a bit rough, but I think he'll be just good enough to sketch the win out for them.
I personally think the Eagles are going to take this one home for the championship. As they've showed this season so far, they are just the better team in every single matchup but a few.
So I have the Chiefs and the 49ers having a rematch in the Super Bowl, and Mitchell has the Dolphins and the Eagles going to the Super Bowl. So we'll start with me first. So I have the Chiefs and the 49ers in a rematch in the Super Bowl. I think that this is going to be a really good game because the 49ers have really good pieces, but they're lacking a quarterback, and the Chiefs have a really good quarterback, but they're lacking the pieces around him. But in a Super Bowl, I'm just taking Mahomes. He's just more clutch, and he's a really good player. I think he's going to have a big game. So now on to Mitchell, who has the Dolphins and the Eagles.
Yeah, I got the Eagles taking this one. I think that the quarterbacks are evenly matched. I think that the Eagles are just a little better quarterback-wise, while the Dolphins are just better receiver-wise. I also think that Eagles they're on a roll this season, and I think that that's going to really hype the team up to play well in the Super Bowl. Dolphins are doing pretty good this season, but they just aren't doing as good as the Eagles. So I really got Eagles coming out of this one with a W. I think it's going to be a really solid win for them. I really hope they win this year.
And that's going to wrap up our second episode of our podcast. Thank you, Robert, for coming on, and thanks everyone else for watching this podcast. Next week, we're going to be going over week 18, which is the last week of the NFL, and we're going to be going over the NBA games over that weekend. We're going to be having a very special guest, so make sure you watch that podcast to figure out who we have on.